Trigonometry is a very simple calculating system that works with the right angle triangle. We'll be able to name three sides of a triangle according to the angle that we're given. I'll show you that in a second. And from that, once you know an angle on any side, we can find the length of the other sides. So it's going to go something like this. Here is a right angle triangle, and I'm going to say that this here is the angle that we're given in degrees. So if we just look at it for a moment, there is the angle. It is touching this side, so it is next to it. Therefore, this is adjacent. And if we go to the other side of the triangle, then this side is opposite where the angle is. So this is opposite. And the longest side of any right angle triangle, as always, is the hypotenuse. So we've now identified the three sides. These letters become crucial in the formulae I'm going to introduce in just a moment. Let me just take this triangle one step further, and it's only sketching, as you can see. Here's the right angle, this is the hypotenuse. If I choose this angle, or if this is the number that we are given, this is, I don't know, 60 degrees or whatever, then we need to identify these sides. This angle is now touching this side, so this is now the adjacent, and this side is called the opposite. Okay, so from this we have three formulae. I'll touch on the formulae in just a second, but we need a memory aid to help us remember them. And whenever we do calculations on this, I would expect somewhere on your paper to see you scribble something like this. So SOHCAHTOA is a memory aid. I'll cover another one in a moment. And from this, we can get that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine, equals opposite over hypotenuse. That's the formula for sine. Cosine is A over H, is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tangent or tan is opposite over adjacent. So you're going to need a memory aid that easily sits in your brain and helps you remember this. So SOHCAHTOA is very, very common. SOHCAHTOA. As long as you say it in that order and you write it down like this, then you'll come up with the right formulae. An alternative: sex on hard concrete always hurts. Try other alternatives. As long as you can relate this and get it into your brain and relate that to the formula, then you should be okay. So there are others. There's loads and loads and loads of them around. The cat sat on an orange and had heartburn. That's the first one I was ever told when I was a kid, and it still gives us the same formulae, done in a different order. Tan, cosine, sine. There's tan, cosine and sine. So moving on, let's have a look at a couple of examples. Example 1. So in example 1, you're asked to find the opposite side. So step 1 is to label up this triangle. This is the longest side, so this is our hypotenuse. Here's our angle, 15 degrees. So this side is next to it. That makes this adjacent. And this side is the one we want to find. This is opposite the angle. Okay. So let's have a look at what we're going to do. The question was in two parts, so let's do part A. Whenever you do this, I would expect to see you scribble somewhere on your page something like this. SOHCAHTOA. car. Toa. So this gives us the three trig formulae that we're going to use. So you need to identify what it is you know. I know H is 20. What is it you want to find? It's A. Apologies. What is it you want to find? It's the opposite. So I know H and O. These are the two things I want. So I need the formula with H and O in the bottom. That is this. Sine has H and O on the bottom bit there. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And we write sine of the given angle is okay. So with your calculator, find sine 15, and you'll find that comes to 0.2588. Go to 4 decimal places for accuracy. If you start to chop it off, the answer isn't quite so accurate. So that's going to be opposite over, and the hypotenuse was 20. So at this point, we've got to transpose this. So if you remember your basics, this is going to go up to the top line to multiply. So the next line is 20 times 0.2588 equals the opposite. So the opposite is 5.2. All right, I hope that lot makes sense. If you're not sure what I've done, you can stop, pause, rewind, and just go through things again and again until you're comfortable with it. So what I need to look at now is part B. This was part A. So part B, I'll squeeze it in on the bottom of this sheet. So on part B, you're asked to find the adjacent, which is this one. So I want to find the adjacent. So we need the formula that contains what you know, H, and what you want to find, A. The formula this time is going to be this one. Which one of these three contains the letters we want? A and H. A and H are here. So we would write cos, the angle you know, is A over H, adjacent over hypotenuse. Let's put the numbers in. With the calculator, find cos 15, cosine of 15, and you will get 0.9659 equals the adjacent over, and the hypotenuse was 20. So we need A on its own. So this goes up there to multiply. So that's 20 times 0.9659 is the adjacent. The adjacent equals 19.3. Okay, so let's have a look at a second example. And you see from the drawing, I've given you an angle, I've given you a side length. Let's label up the triangle. Longest side, hypotenuse. This side is next to the angle, so this is adjacent, and this side over here is opposite. So in the question, we're asked to find the length of the hypotenuse. So once again, somewhere on your page, I would expect you to scribble sex on hard concrete always hurts. Try other alternatives. So just find a memory aid that works for you, SOHCAHTOA or one of the others. And from that, we're going to do the calculation. What do we know? I know this one. A, what do I want to find? H. So A and H appear in this formula here. So let's write that down. We would write the cosine of the angle you know is adjacent over hypotenuse. Let's put some numbers in. Cos 20, do that in your calculator, 0.9397 is the adjacent is 300 and H is the thing we want to find. So at this point you're in the transposition mode again. So if we do this and this, we cannot just move 300 under there because that doesn't leave H, that leaves 1 over H. We need to move the H to the top and this then needs to move out of the way, and these two just swap places. We've encountered that many times before. So H goes to the top, hypotenuse equals 300, and underneath we now have this 0.9397. Put that in your calculator, 319.3.